What's up, guys? Today is March 3rd, 2025. I am Jordan Hunt. With me today is Evan Johnson. This is Beanball Buzz. All right. Well, I guess my music isn't going to work. Something's going on with my internet right now. I hope. All right. Anyways, whatever. Sorry about that, guys, with the music. I'm having some technical difficulties on my side. Again, I'm Jordan Hunt. Welcome back to Beanball Buzz. With me today is Evan Johnson. We are going to be talking about the National League Central and what teams did do and what most of them did not do. So, Evan, how are you?
I'm doing just great, man. Happy to be here.
Yeah, that's good. Me too. Glad to be talking ball on a Monday morning. It's been a little bit of a day thus far for Braves fans. We woke up early to the news that the Braves had signed Hector Neris, which is interesting because we have a pretty big bullpen competition going on right now. And then a couple hours later, we get the news that Sean Murphy is down for 4 to 6 weeks with a cracked rib, which means Drake Baldwin is probably going to get his chance to prove that he can be a major league player. Everything I have seen says that he can. So it's been a bit of a morning, but that's not what we're here for today. We're here to talk about National League Central baseball, which is going to be a little bit different in 2025. You've got some teams that didn't do much at all, to be completely honest. And then you've got two teams that went out and did some things. And that's kind of the story of where they're at. So just jumping in to the PECOTA standings or the PECOTA projections, excuse me, they've got the Cubs winning the division with 91.5 wins, which would probably not be a postseason team in any other division. So that's interesting. The Cubs are projected to finish first. The Brewers, they project the Brewers to be under 500, which kind of blows my mind. But still in second place, 80.3 wins to 81.7 losses. And then it's just a jumbled mess. They've got the Cards at 77.8 wins, the Pirates at 75.3 wins, and the Reds at 74.8 wins. So it's kind of all smushed together outside of what they predict for the Cubs. What do you feel about that? Is there a team you like specifically in this division?
Yeah, I just want to point out two things here. First of all, they said
Sure.
Pacoda says the Cubs win the Central by 11 games. That's a pretty big margin. I don't think it's going to be like a
Right.
runaway. I do think the Cubs win this division, but I don't think it's going to be like over by mid-December. It's going to come down to the wire. Second, I'm looking at Pacoda right
Absolutely.
now, and with the 91.5 wins they project for the Cubs, they'd win every division in the American League, and that's honestly hilarious to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because AL West, they said Texas
Oh,
wins with 89.9. AL Central, they got Minnesota in first with 87.1. And then AL East, they got New York in front with 89.1.
those are weird numbers for sure.
They
Especially,
said
well,
nobody in the American League gets to 90 wins. That's
it's going to
crazy.
win 90 games. That's
Dude,
insane.
like, are they
It should,
are they really that bad, or somebody just like got an agenda at Pacoda?
the American League is pretty bad for one. Also, I mean, in the AL East, the the Red Sox really went out and did a lot this offseason. The
Dude, they got the Red Sox
Yankees
finishing
did a lot.
last.
Huh?
They got them in last place.
That may not be updated since the Bregman signing then. So
Yeah, probably.
I respectfully I disagree with that, Pacoda. I also disagree with the fact that nobody in the American League is going to win 90 games. That sounds preposterous and frankly damn near impossible. But anyways, that's wild. But yeah, I mean, Bo in the comments here points out that the Brewers are always going to blow away those projections, and that's probably true. Especially, like I said, to have them under 500 kind of feels disingenuous almost because the Brewers have been a 90-win team nearly every season, it feels like. And they didn't really get much worse. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say they got any better, but the only other team in the division who really got, well, I guess you could say the Reds got better. We'll have to see how they respond after kind of a down year last year. But Cubs got better. Cardinals, they did nothing. The Pirates,
Absolutely nothing.
Like the Pirates, they made a few little
The
small.
Pirates moved laterally. They moved,
Yeah,
but they moved laterally, sideways.
Yes. Yep. My apologies. So yeah, I agree. And so okay, so let's jump into some over-unders there, right?
All right.
Cubs at 91.5. Are you over or under on that?
Okay, honestly, I'm gonna take the over. I like what I see with this Cubs team.
Yeah, I think that the Cubs especially in that division, I would go over because I think they can get to like 93 wins. I mean, you traded for Kyle Tucker, they did a lot. I mean, obviously Tucker was the big impact piece they got. But
And not to mention, a
they
guy
got
like Kyle Tucker would thrive. A guy like Kyle Tucker would thrive in a ballpark like Wrigley. Like
at
it was
Wrigley,
practically made for him.
Wrigley's gonna be a monster at Wrigley. It's gonna be fun to watch. I personally I hope he resigns there because I think that makes a lot of sense for the Cubs. They need a superstar. They went out and got Dansby Swanson a couple years ago, and like that was supposed to be their big move, and it was like, okay, well, Dansby Swanson's a decent shortstop. He's a good shortstop, but he's not a needle mover as far as when you need a superstar. And Tucker fits that role for them. So
Absolutely.
I think he's going to be a monster in that stadium. I think that Justin Turner was a sneaky good ad right at the end of the offseason. They had a guy who, maybe he doesn't have the pop he used to have, but he's still a good hitter. Things didn't work out in Toronto for him. That was clear. But he did great in Seattle.
The thing with Justin Turner is he's not going to do much, but from a in the box standpoint, he doesn't really have to. Just put him in the bottom of the lineup. He'll get a single or two when he needs to. But mostly he could be a mentor for the young guys coming up, like Pete Crow Armstrong, right, who's already up, like Matt Shaw on his way up. Like Justin Turner could be like a veteran presence, an unk, as the kids say, for the kids.
Yeah, unk. Yeah, I think Matt Shaw. I think he's going to be a big reason for Matt Shaw to take a step this year and possibly become the star player we believe he is. I mean, everything points to Matt Shaw being a star player. So, but I think having Justin Turner in the room is going to do nothing but help that kid develop even further. So I'm with
And
you
I
on
was
that. I think that's
gracious.
a good take.
I was lucky enough to see Matt Shaw play at Maryland, and let me tell you, he is every bit as good as he's hyped up to be. That bat is
Really.
lethal. Yes.
Yeah. I know
Like
that
he practically lives in center field. Let's put it that way.
yeah, I know that he went to because Drake Baldwin went as well. He went to the play for USA this offseason for Team USA, and Matt Shaw was just showing out the whole time. He was easily the star of that team. So, and a few years ago, oh well, I don't know. I won't get into that, but they had some star players coming up that were, kind of like Matt Shaw a few years ago who are stars now. So, yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that. The Brewers, I feel like you hammer the over on that, right? I mean,
That's a
you're gonna list the
no-brainer for
Brewers
over.
under 500. There's no reason to list the Brewers as a sub 500 team. They always figure everything out. They've still got Contreras. They've got Jackson Churio. They've got a healthy Christian Yelich coming back. They're supposed to get Brandon Woodyard back. I, I don't know. I just don't agree with that. I think that's a wild projection, personally.
Like pretty much the only thing you could say here, and the only thing that would have even the slightest shred of credibility here, is that they lost Devin Williams. Like they lost the Airbender. But even then,
They
he was
lost.
far from the only person. Say it again.
Well, I was going to say they also lost Willie Adames, but
I mean,
that's
yeah,
not
but
enough for
like,
me to. What did they win last year? I'm interested now. I feel like they won
Milwaukee.
like 93 games.
Hold on, let me look it up right now.
2024.
Milwaukee won 93 games. You got it on the dot.
9. Okay, yeah. So I don't know. To say that Devin Williams and Willie Adames
Just make this
impacted
like
that
losing them
game
makes this team 13 games worse. I just don't see it.
13 games worse. Yeah, I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. So, the Cards, they're hard to pinpoint. Bo's over here talking about how they're supposedly going to rebuild, but they haven't traded anybody. And that's been so weird to me. The way the Cardinals handle their quote unquote rebuild is just, if I were a fan, I would be angry because they're not doing anything. They're not trying to get better. They're not biting the bullet and trading guys away. They're just content with what they've got. And what they've got is simply not good enough to compete. So I don't know
The card
what the hell.
the Cardinals make me sad because for most of my childhood and like most of my 20s and like we're around the same age, like so you could agree, like so you like see where I'm coming from. This the Cardinals were this prestigious franchise. They were actually somebody. They were the cream of the crop. This wasn't just another team coming in the middle of the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to your ballpark. This was the St. Louis Cardinals. They had
Yeah.
Yadier Molina. They had Adam Wainwright on the mound. They had Michael Waka back when he was like one of the best pitchers in the
Matt
league. Even
Holliday,
recently, Paul
Michael.
Goldschmidt, Nolan
Yeah.
Arenado. This was a team everybody wanted to beat. They got everybody's best shot every single night. And now today they're like a
Yep.
nothing franchise. You don't even think about them. Like and like we know
No.
and we know they're not going to the playoffs. We know they're not going to do anything special. And Bush Stadium is such a wonderful stadium, wonderful ballpark. And it was the backdrop for some amazing moments in the playoffs, like while we was coming up. And now it's
Oh
just
yeah.
to see
Big
it
time.
to see that it's going to be empty pretty much every single night this season. it's just kind of a tough sight. And you hit it right on the head. You said the Cardinals were in a rebuild, and like you don't really know where they're going with the rebuild. But in a rebuild, we know the number one criteria, the number one topic, the end all be all end of the day is your prospects. And as of MLB Pipeline's latest farm rankings, the Cardinals farm system ranks 19th. So it's just a it's just a sad sight to see how the Cardinals have become such a crater of a franchise.
Yeah, that's pretty tough. I didn't know their farm was that bad either. Now, I mean, that's still better than the Braves farm, but the Braves are World Series contenders. Like it's I, I don't know, man. You're a Nationals fan, so you've been through this recently. You know that
Exactly.
like the way to rebuild is you got to draft and develop good. You've got to capitalize on the players that you do have, and you've got to turn those into better prospects coming into your system. The Nationals have done a fantastic job of that. The Soto trade was, I mean, genius, absolute genius move by Mike Rizzo, and you just and John Mozeliak for so many years has been celebrated as a great GM, and now we're seeing that maybe not. Maybe he never really was that good. The Cardinals drafted and developed good. They made trades to bring in good players, but I don't know.
And I'm gonna go back to
When
the
it
farm
comes
system thing, if
to
I may, because like, and I'm gonna go back.
Yeah,
I'm
go
gonna loop
ahead.
the Nats back into this too, because we've been on both sides. Been on both sides of this. We have a good farm system because we've built it up so well over the last 3 years, like you're supposed to do in a rebuild. But also before that, we had a horrendous farm. Our farm system was pretty bad for like a decade, but nobody cared because we was winning first, second place in the NL East every year. We was competing for a World
Yeah.
Series every single year, and that was just the price of it. It was only like having a bad farm system was only actually a problem for us in 2021, and that's it. But yeah, that's like the price to pay for a World Series run. I'm gonna take you to the bottom 10 teams in the farm system rankings, Pipeline's latest farm system rankings, and I'm gonna count and let's count how many of them are playoff contenders. Okay, 10th worst, Diamondbacks. There's one. Ninth worst is the A's, but the A's are the A's. Eighth worst is the
Yeah, but
Giants.
we'll see.
Yeah,
I'm a
yeah, go
Giants
ahead.
fan.
Yeah, eighth worst is the Giants, who honestly could go either way. Let's count that as 1.5. Seventh worst is the Blue Jays, and this season's not going to be pretty for them. Sixth worst is the Royals. They might be a World Series contender. And then fifth is
Mm-hmm.
the Rangers, another possible threat to make the World Series. Then you got the Braves, again, and Atlanta's one of the teams who I don't mean to stroke egos or nothing here, but y'all are one of the few teams in the National League that could possibly contend with the Dodgers. Third
I
worst is the
agree.
Padres. Then it's the Angels, and the worst belongs to the Astros, who at least should still make the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a lot of teams there who are at least in contention for the postseason. Um, you said the A's, and I think people, the A's. Okay, the last few years things have not been pretty for the A's, but they're starting to, work their way up, and it, I would not be shocked to see them contend for a wild card spot at all.
What's
Honestly,
gonna help the A's is that they're moving into a minor league ballpark,
yep,
which very well could be a more hitter friendly ballpark than Oakland Coliseum. Rest in peace.
yeah, yep.
But seeing guys like Lawrence Butler and Brent Rooker mashing that ballpark is going to be extraordinary.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I mean, it's gonna be weird because it is a AAA ballpark. Um, and people keep saying, like they're not the only ones. The Rays are going to be in a AAA ballpark. Yeah, but the Rays are going to be in the Yankees AAA ballpark, which kind of feels like a major league ballpark, anyways.
And plus,
So
it's like same ending, but like same destination, different roads. Because the Rays are here because like the
Right.
Rays are in a minor league ballpark because a hurricane destroyed theirs.
Yeah.
And as soon as the Trop is rebuilt, they're going to move back in.
Right. At least temporarily. And then we'll see
Yeah,
where things go there. But yeah.
temporarily, but they'll still move back once the Trop is rebuilt.
Yeah. But the A's, I don't know, man. I think personally, I think they're going to be a really fun team to watch this year. Uh,
Oh, most definitely.
so so even them, like they've got more to show for a bad farm than the Cardinals do. That's for sure. Uh, I don't know. I don't mean to sit here and like knock on the Cardinals. I'm just saying that if I were a Cardinals fan, I would be quite upset with the lack of direction that the ballpark, or excuse me, that the ball club, whatever you want to call it, ballpark, club, team, whatever the hell. I would be quite upset with the lack of direction that the ball club has. So it's not pretty. But they've got them winning 77 games, or I guess 78 because it's
Yeah,
77.8.
I'm rounding up to 78.
I'm going under on that one. I can't.
I'm gonna have to take the under.
Yeah,
Because when we get to
that's
third place in this division, this is where we start to see how the NL Central is the weakest of the three divisions in the National League. Like once we
yeah,
get past the Cubs and Brewers.
yeah. Oh, I agree. I agree. And I still think the Pirates and the Cubs, or excuse me, not Pirates and Cubs, Pirates and the Reds have the potential to have a good year and maybe compete for a wild card spot. Maybe. But I don't know. Honestly, if I were ranking these, I would put both the Pirates and Reds over the Cardinals. But that's just me personally. I don't know. So what I'm saying is I'm taking the over on both of those being 75 wins. Like that's I don't know. To me that seems kind of low for both of those teams. You get a full season of Paul Skeens and Jared Jones together with Mitch Keller. They've got
Okay, but
some pieces in Pittsburgh.
For the Pirates, I'm actually going to go ahead and take the under here because Pittsburgh's
Really?
lineup, yeah, because Pittsburgh has an amazing rotation.
Yeah.
They got Paul Skeens, they got Mitch Keller, Jared Jones. They just picked up Andrew Heaney, so their pitching staff is one of the best in the league. At least it looks that way on paper. But the problem
Oh yeah.
is they have no bats. They have O'Neal Cruz, they have Brian Reynolds, and that's it. Like I looked at a projection for their lineup yesterday. They had Andrew McCutchen batting cleanup in 2025. That's just not gonna work.
Yeah, that's
And
not
and the thing
that's not good.
and like you said, could the Pirates hypothetically compete for a wild card spot? Yes, they maybe could. We've seen like now that we get a full season of Paul Skeens, and you see how well Pittsburgh started out last year, even before and during, like even before Paul Skeens got called up, and during his first about month or so. So like hypothetically, it is possible, but even then, the final nail in the coffin would be: do you really trust the Pirates to make the moves they need to make at the deadline either way? Because I'm gonna say my answer is no here.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% with you. Until Bob Nutting shows that he is willing to spend. I mean, I saw the stat, a few weeks ago that the Pirates have not signed a free agent to a multi-year deal in 9 years. And that seems
And how long is their
impossible.
playoff drought? 9 years.
What did they make it in 2015?
They did make it in 2015.
They did. Okay.
They
Well,
did.
okay. Well, there you go. I mean, right there, that tells you everything you need to know. If you're not willing to spend, you're not going to make it anywhere. And you've got a generational starting pitcher in Paul Skeens. Build something around this guy. Just get him to the postseason, even if he's in a wild card series and you guys don't, you don't get past the wild card series. At least we get to see Paul Skeens in a wild card scenario. And honestly, if you get that rotation to the postseason, you have a shot. Because
Exactly.
if Paul
Pitching wins
Skeens,
championships, man. Pitching wins
yeah,
championships. Like
yep.
the team with
And
the
like you
best
said,
rotation in baseball wins the World Series more often than the team with the best lineup does.
yeah.
These
When,
is facts.
in 2021, when the Braves won the World Series, yes, everybody loves to remember that they had a lot of like big home runs in big moments, and that was fun. Don't get me wrong, but if you look at it, what won the Braves the World Series was their pitching. Like they, in the division series, it was all low scoring games. The Braves weren't scoring a ton of runs. They won because their pitching was just stopping everybody. They go into the NLCS. It was a little different in the NLCS, I'll say that, because Dodgers were a fucking juggernaut. And they went back and forth, but their pitching held up. And in the World Series, the Astros were the best offensive team in baseball that year. And the Braves gave up 2 home runs to them in the whole series in 6 games. And they were both hit by Jose Altuve. And that's like, once you get in, that's what you need. Timely home runs and great pitching. And the Pirates could do that if they would just get a couple extra bats. But I don't. It is maddening. I'd be quite frustrated as a
And
Pirates
like
fan.
all they need is one or two, because like O'Neal Cruz swings a amazing bat. Like he hits cruise missiles for
Yeah,
days. But
and
he
I think he's going to
cannot,
have a big year.
and he certainly might. Like he certainly might. In fact, I think he will too. But the problem is he's just one guy. And if the Angels have taught us anything, one guy cannot be your whole offense, no matter how good he is.
Yes, yes. Nah, dude, you're speaking truth right there. I mean, the Angels tried it for a decade with Mike Trout, and then they even brought in Shohei Ohtani to do it with him, and they couldn't do it. Like, you had the 2 best players in baseball for years, and you couldn't get one postseason series out of those 2 games or 2 guys, and that's the greatest travesty in baseball history, in my opinion, to have those 2 guys together and never get to a postseason series. That's, I don't know. I'm not going to go on that soapbox, but yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Pirates are right there with that. Um, the Reds, like I said, I'm taking the over on the Reds. I think the Reds are going to be better than a lot of people think, but I also don't know if I believe they're a postseason team. So
Yeah,
it's,
with the Reds, I'm taking the over mainly because I don't have them last in the NL Central. I have that going to Pittsburgh. I got the Reds finishing third.
yeah, I think that's fair. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think that the Reds have a good core, and it's very young. And I think that as time progresses, that core will get even better. And then, yeah, they'll be, postseason contenders and stuff. But right now, it's still a little bit, yes, Bo. They've got Gavin Lux. And Gavin Lux did have an excellent second half of the season last year. He had like a 154 weighted runs created plus, and it was insane. Hold on just a second. Sorry about that. He had a 154 weighted runs created plus in the second half. And then, the Dodgers said, not good enough for us. And then they traded him away for nothing. And they could end up benefiting from that. The Reds could really, really make out well in that trade. I think that Gavin Lux in that ballpark is a dream fit. But
Man, who you telling? The
I
Great
mean,
American
outside of that,
Small Park, as they call it.
yeah, and they, Ellie. It feels like we haven't reached Ellie's ceiling, or even close to it. So I think that at any moment Ellie could have that big year. But
Dude, Ellie is a monster, and he's going to win at least one MVP in his career. Maybe two, maybe three. He's
yeah,
definitely
I
going to
no,
win
I
at least
agree.
one, though.
I agree. I think it's the pitching that is like, what do we have here? Like Hunter Green is good. Uh, they traded for Singer, but Lodolo can't stay healthy, and I'm probably missing a few other guys. Oh, Nick
Hunter
Martinez
Green.
was fantastic last year. So if Nick Martinez can, repeat that, then that's huge. So we'll see. We'll see. The pieces are there, but it's just a question of can they put it together. I think.
Yeah, for the Reds, it's going to come
Sorry,
down
my eye is
to
itching.
like for the Reds. If it comes down to bats, they might be able to sneak their way into the sixth seed.
Yeah.
If it comes down to pitching, then they might be out of luck here because in your own division, you're not going to outpitch the Cubs if you're the Reds pitching staff. You're not out pitching the Cubs. You are damn sure not out pitching the Brewers. That's a fact. And then when it
No,
comes to
the Brewers. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just going to add on to that. Even when the Brewers don't seem like they have a lot of good pitchers, they end up having a great pitching staff every year. So they're going to figure the pitching out.
Yeah, the Brewers have pitching down to a science, dude. It's honestly scary. Like they could take somebody off the street. They could take somebody out of CVS and turn him into a Cy Young candidate. The
Yeah.
Brewers have this stuff down.
I'm interested to see what they do with Nestor Cortez. That could be a fun little move for them because he was always
Nestor, I feel like is a 4-5
okay.
pitcher. He's
Yeah,
like
but
Nestor should be a 4-5 pitcher.
it feels like everybody's a 4-5 pitcher when they go to the Brewers, and then the Brewers do something and fix them. That's the way I feel, but
I feel like
maybe I'm wrong.
I feel like Nestor truly is, although he actually could benefit from Miller Park. I don't care what they're calling it now. It's still Miller Park to me, damn it. That ballpark
Yeah,
is more pitcher friendly than Yankee Stadium. But then again, this room is more pitcher friendly than Yankee Stadium.
right. Yeah,
So,
that's true.
the bar is kind of low there, but he at least should be able to thrive in those new dimensions.
I think that'll help him. So we've kind of already touched on some of the offseason moves and stuff, but we can just kind of go over them. We talked about the Cubs getting Tucker, but I mean they did the Cubs did a good bit this offseason. Traded for Kyle Tucker, that was big. They in trading for Kyle Tucker, another thing they did was they opened up third base for Matt Shaw. And I think that's going to be a good move. I think that Matt Shaw, his ceiling is 10 times higher than that of Isaac Paredes. So that was, to
Man,
me,
this rookie of the year
addition by
race, Dylan
subtraction.
Cruz and Matt Shaw. Dylan Cruz and
Yeah,
Matt Shaw in the rookie of the year race is going to be that's a good one. That's going to be must see
yeah.
TV.
So I guess James Wood, he won't qualify for rookie status
Now
again, will he?
James Wood, he phased out of being a rookie last year. I forgot when. I think it was sometime around Labor Day, but he doesn't qualify this year.
Okay. So, yeah, see, like, I love when young players get brought up like that. I don't fault the Nationals for doing that at all. But I hate when it knocks them out of a potential Rookie of the Year race like that, because James Wood would be a shoe-in, like, top guy for that award, and it would be
It
a
would be between
blast
him and Dylan
to
Cruz.
watch. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it's going to be a fun race, though. I mean, you've got those two guys. Trying to think about who else is out there.
For Rookie of the Year?
Well, yeah, I'm trying to think of any other young stars that are coming. Hey, Drake Baldwin might have just got his chance.
Roki Sasaki, bro.
Roki Sasaki. I didn't even think about Roki Sasaki. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. So there's going to be some fun names.
And then this next guy just got traded to the White Sox, but I'm really, really high on him. Kyle Teal.
Kyle Teal's going to be fun to watch.
Kyle Teal.
I don't know how the White Sox
Crochet
are going to
trade.
handle that. We'll see if they end up bringing him
Kyle
up.
Kyle Teal is already pretty much MLB ready. So the White Sox would actually have to try to fumble this. The Red Sox pretty much did all the work in making him MLB ready already. The Red Sox pretty much did all the work with Kyle Teal already. Like the White Sox have a ready-made dinner ready to go. All they got to do is just sit down and eat.
Yeah, he's going to be a stud. But my question becomes, are they going to try to manipulate his service time?
Probably.
We'll see how that goes. Yeah. So, Cubs they traded for Vidal Brujan. That's not really anything to talk about. Matt Thaiss. But they signed Matthew Boyd to a 2-year deal. He had a nice little stretch with the Guardians last year. Caleb Thielbar, Ryan Presley. That was a good pickup, in my opinion. It sounds like he's going to be their closer.
They're the Chicago Astros now.
Right, yeah, pretty much. Exactly, yeah.
The Chicago Astros.
And the Chicago Astros and the Houston Cubs right now. Pretty much.
And the Houston
Cubs. Ryan Brazier, Ryan Brazier had a fantastic year last year, but I guess the Dodgers again decided you're not good enough to be on our team, so you're going to get traded somewhere else. I don't know. He was very good. So Bo can attest to that. The Dodgers are on a whole nother level from everybody else. And it's kind of comical, the players that they are turning away, because they have so many good players. They don't need these good players. So I don't know. That's just funny.
This is how scary the Dodgers are, y'all. This is how scary the Dodgers are, y'all. The team that the Dodgers are just throwing away is a wild card team. That's a 5 or 6 seed right there.
That's true. That's true. I mean, their minor league team is probably potential wild card contender.
And the Dodgers have a
because they also have a great farm.
They always perennially have a great farm.
Yeah.
Let's see. They're currently they're currently the 5th ranked farm system.
Yeah.
They're number 5.
Crazy. But we need to stop glazing them, because Bo will never let me live it down. Me and Bo go back and forth.
When we talk about the Dodgers, how do we not glaze them? How do we not glaze them, but also sound like we're not overtly trying to hate for no reason other than just to hate?
Right. Yeah, you just have to, with the Dodgers, you just have to be real about it. They're probably the best constructed team I've seen in my lifetime. And I don't think that's a stretch. I mean, you could.
Can we put the Shohei 3 batters away graphic up?
Yeah, I know. It feels like it should be over here in the corner somewhere.
Just like real tiny in the corner.
Maybe the Yankees, like the Yankees dynasty, like those teams were extremely good too. But I don't know. I just don't think I have ever witnessed anything like this, but it is what it is. So, anyways, moving on. We'll cover the Cardinals. It's going to take a while. They did nothing. They didn't trade anybody away. They didn't bring anybody in. They did nothing. So that's the Cardinals. Kind of
And
crazy.
this was the perfect offseason to do something. This was the perfect
Yeah,
offseason to at least get yourself close to playoff contention.
right.
And they just kind of
They
sat
had the
there.
pieces. They had the pieces to move some guys. Helsley. They could have moved Eric Fetty. They could have moved Sonny Gray. Was probably not going to go anywhere. He says he wants to stay there. He has a no trade clause. He was going to turn down a trade. So that is what it is. But Arenado was openly saying he wants to be traded,
And nothing.
and you can't get it done. And it's like, I mean, I know there's a lot of money tied up there, but man, when you have a player who is that obviously not wanting to be on your team and you can't find a way to trade him, that's rough. That's
Remember when St. Louis
I
was
don't
a
know.
place where people actually wanted to play?
Oh, they were destination, dude. And they could still
Man.
easily be that. They do have a great fan base. They have a great ballpark. They've got a great scene going on around the ballpark and everything with all the stuff they've built up there. It should be a prime free agency place, but they just have completely flopped on building a team, and it's rough to watch. So, anyways, won't stick on that too much. The Brewers also did virtually nothing. They went and got Nestor Cortez, and then they added Mark Canha and Manuel Margot on minor league deals. So
The
there's
only
not
one
really
that's
much there
the
to
only
talk
one that
about
might
either.
be able to do anything there is Nestor, because like I said, like American Family Field, Miller Park is way different than Yankee Stadium. So pitching there is going to be way easier for him. He should be a solid 4 or 5 guy.
Yeah, I think he's going to do well there. Also, just a little note on that. In that Devin Williams trade, the other piece that they got is a kid named Caleb Durbin that the Braves traded away a couple off seasons ago for Lucas Litke, and that's a trade I think the Braves would want to take back because Caleb Durbin has turned into a really nice prospect. He tore up the Arizona Fall League, and he's a middle infielder. I don't think the Braves ever thought he was going to get to the major leagues. So I think that they viewed him as a lottery ticket to send to the Yankees. Well, the Yankees hit on that lottery ticket, and then they used him to get Devin Williams. And so Alex Anthopoulos' two biggest misses over the last few years are the Sean Murphy trade with Contreras going to the Brewers, and now Caleb Durbin also ends up with the Brewers. So we'll see how he does. I don't know if he ends up debuting this year. He was very close. He was expected to compete for a job with the Yankees. So that's just something I wanted to throw out there. He's going to be a fun little piece to watch. And then the Reds, we've talked about some of the things that the Reds have done. Lux, Singer. They also added Scott Barlow, Brent Suter, one of the Rogers brothers. I can't remember. I think Taylor Rogers is the left-handed one, I believe.
Hold on, I'm looking it up.
And then, yeah, that's fine. And then Austin Hayes, who has had a really good spring thus far. So, rooting for that guy. He ended up with that bad infection last year that really kind of
Just
derailed
to
his
note,
season.
it's Taylor
Yeah, it's
Rogers that they got.
Taylor Rogers. He's the
Taylor
left-handed
Rogers.
one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It's so hard to remember which one is which. Their names are so close to each other. Taylor and Tyler. One's a lefty, one's a righty. It's their parents are cruel. They both played for the Giants.
For the Giants.
So yeah, so it's tough to figure that one out. So thank you for looking that up. And then we talked about the Pirates as well. Kutch. They also went and got Andrew Haney, which honestly I think has the potential to be a really good value for them. They only paid him
He's a really
$5.25
good
million
trade piece.
guaranteed.
That's what I'm looking. That's how I'm looking at it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. They're basically paying him nothing for a starting pitcher salary, $5.25 million, and if he has another season like he did last year, then he's a guy you can flip at the deadline and get a nice prospect for. So, because we all know starting pitching is extremely expensive at the deadline. So, and then brought back Adam Frazier. They signed Tommy Pham, who just feels like a great fit in Pittsburgh to me. Hopefully he brings a little more of that edge. Like, yeah, you've got a veteran presence in Andrew McCutchen, right? But Andrew McCutchen is everybody's favorite uncle, and he's just a nice guy.
Basically.
And then, Tommy Pham is the guy who got stabbed in a nightclub and is, he's a wild dude. And
he's an asshole, but he's the asshole that they need.
He's the asshole that you love to have in the room with you. Yeah.
Exactly. That's who Tommy Pham is.
Yes. He's very much that guy. And then Spencer Horwitz, who they ended up trading a decent starting pitcher away for that guy. But I don't know. Horwitz tortured the Braves at the end of the season. So we got to know that name quite well. He looks like a good hitter, but he also kind of looks like a platoon hitter. And he got injured. So we'll see how that goes for them. I still think it was a good
on the
pickup.
Pirates just ain't going. Like, the Pirates do not have enough depth to be platooning guys. Like, what are we doing here?
They don't.
What are we doing here?
It's crazy. Yeah, and I don't even know who I don't even know who's really going to be filling in for him. Playing first base.
First base? Okay,
yeah.
So right now they got that as, let's see, Derek Hall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. A name that I remember from the depths of my conscience as a Nats prospect who never really did anything, and then we just let him go.
Yeah, he came to the Phillies, and he hit his first home run against us. And if I remember correctly, it came off a position player, and I want to say it was Mike Ford.
That makes way too much sense.
So, I mean, I may be mistaken about that, but it was like Mike Ford hitting a home run off of Mike Ford was the way that I saw it. Because that's exactly what Derek Hall is. He's Mike Ford made over again.
Yep.
So, yeah. So, yikes. That's rough. I mean, even bringing back like Vogie would have been a better fit there. But anyways, so I just wanted to put aside like 5 minutes at the end of this to talk about what the Cubs are doing, because I think that of the teams in this division, if there is a team who could be a true threat in the National League, it's definitely the Cubs. I really like what they did this offseason. Their starting pitching is a little weird. Like, they don't really feel like they have that stud ace. I don't know. Maybe people would disagree with me on that, but I don't. I see Shota as more of a 2 than a 1. But Do you kind of feel the same way? Do you think that the Cubs have a shot to make some noise in the National League?
Oh, they absolutely do. Their lineup is fearsome. Adding Kyle Tucker is like that was the game changing move in the Central. Like Kyle Tucker
Yeah, their
was the
lineup is
game
very
changer
good.
in the National League Central. And basically, I see this Cubs offseason as the offseason that they wanted to do for the last 2 or 3 years, but they were just too scared to do. They kind of held
Yeah,
back.
or they swung
And
and
then
missed at a couple stars.
yeah, they swung and missed, and then kind of got scared to swing again.
Yeah,
But
I agree. Yeah, because
but
I
now
think
what the, but now what they did was
go ahead.
they've established themselves as on paper the best looking team in the NL Central in a lot of places, and also cleared up room for Matt Shaw, which was huge. That was really the biggest thing they had to do, because if you didn't, you were going to face a lot of questions all year about where's Matt Shaw? Why is Matt Shaw still in AAA? Who is this guy that's still at third base? Why is Matt Shaw not at third base? Like they would have been mismanaging the greatest asset they have right now, and now that's a problem they don't have to worry about no more. This all season was smart and sensible.
Yeah, I think it was. I think that's the word that I would use to describe it. Was smart. It was calculated, right? They cleared up spot for Matt Shaw. They've Pete Crow Armstrong is going to be a star. I mean, that dude, he kind of broke out in the second half last year. I don't know if you can hear my daughter. So sorry if you guys can hear her Eden over there. She's knocking on the door, making some noise.
Tell her
But
I said hi.
okay, Evan says hi, Eden. But yeah, they cleared up a spot for Matt Shaw. They didn't trade away. Oh man, now I'm gonna blank on his name. Who's the right-handed Japanese player they've got? What is
You mean
his name?
Shota?
Uh no. Suzuki? Right?
Yes. Oh, you meant Saya. Yeah.
Yeah, Seiya Suzuki. That's right. I kept
Sorry,
wanting to say
you said right
something
handed.
else,
My
but yeah,
brain
yeah,
instantly went pitcher.
no. They didn't trade away Seiya Suzuki, and I think that was a big thing because early in the offseason, there was all kinds of talk about Suzuki being traded, and I mean, I lit up because the Braves needed a right-handed hitting outfielder, and I was like, yeah, that's awesome. Like that dude rakes. Go get him. But they didn't end up trading him. So I think getting Kyle Tucker and not making that trade is a huge move. So I think that was big for their lineup. It's going to be pretty nasty. And then they like we talked about, they got Presley. He's going to slot in at the back end of that bullpen, and they already had a pretty decent bullpen. So I don't know. I think the Cubs can really make some noise. I think they're going to get into the postseason. I think they've got the ability to make some big noise. So
Yeah, the Cubs. It's gonna feel weird to say this because I have them winning a division, but mark the Cubs down as a sleeper team. Like once you get to the playoffs, like Chicago's
yeah,
gonna be that team that on paper you think should be an easy out, but they're gonna hang around in games. They're gonna get that hit right when they need to. They're gonna get that strikeout right when they need to, and this might
yep.
be a team nobody wants to see in October.
And they've got good pitching. Like I mean, maybe like I said, they don't have that true ace, but they still have some good pitchers. Uh they've got Shota, they've got Justin Steele. We'll kind of see what Jameson Tyone ends up being this year. Yeah, you're right, Bo. D-backs are sneaky good too. They're going to be. I don't think that NL West is going to be as much of a cakewalk for the Dodgers as people might think. I
Absolutely
still
not.
think they're going to win it. Still think they're going to win it handedly, but I don't think it's going to be as run away as some people might think. But yeah, anyways, really that's all we had to go over today. The National League Central is certainly interesting. It's going to be kind of fun to watch. You got some young teams there with a lot of young star players. Ellie, Paul Skeens. Now you've got Tucker in the division. You've got Pete Crow Armstrong. Hopefully the the Cardinals do something at some point before the end of the spring. And the Brewers are just the Brewers. So they've got lots of young talent too with Jackson Churio, and William Contreras is still very young and very good. It's going to be a fun summer to watch that division. So, but outside of that, we appreciate you guys coming by. Bo, as always, we appreciate you stopping by in the comments section. So appreciate your help, kind of guiding us through and giving us a little bit more to talk about. So, but other than that, we don't have anything else, guys. Look forward to seeing you next week out here. Y'all have a good day.